The following match is scheduled for one fall.
Welcome back, wrestling fans, to the National Wrestling League, and it is my tag team partner, Christopher Fulton's favorite part of the show. Captain KC himself, Blaine Meeks, is making his way to the ring.
Well, first of all, you are my partner. I am not yours. This guy.
Weighing in at 195 pounds, hailing from Austin, Texas, he is Captain KC, Blaine Super Meeks.
There he is, Captain KC himself, making his way to the ring in what should be an interesting singles matchup here between himself and the International Man of Mystery, Scott Slade.
Well, you know, we've went about 30 seconds, and I haven't heard him crying about not getting his rematch yet. Might be a new record for Blaine Meeks. He's got something to say. Certainly going to cry about it now.
Thank you. How's it going, Kansas City?
Well, suck it up to the fans.
Now, come on, I don't know if you guys are just as bummed as me that we just lost the match in the I-70 series, but I need you to come up out your seats. Let me know how you're doing. How's it going, Kansas City?
Almost 400 fans in attendance for
That's the
tonight's
Kansas
show.
City I know
Great
and love.
crowd here.
You know, we are going on 2 months in which I have not had my rematch against Dak Draper for the NWL championship.
Okay, Christopher, don't say anything.
Only a matter of time.
But you know, I'm not out here to whine. I'm not out here to complain, because that's not how Kansas City does things. That's not how you do things. That's not how Captain KC does things. Instead, I'm out here to talk about last show. I'm out here to talk about a transformation that each and every one of you saw. Because let's be honest, when the stakes were at their highest, Blaine Meeks wasn't quite getting it done. Captain KC wasn't quite winning for each and every one of you. But I saw something last match, and I know each and every one of you saw something last match, because I could hear it. I could hear it from the rafters. I could hear it from the front row. I could hear Super Meeks, Super Meeks.
That's right, Christopher. Last show was the birth of Super Meeks.
The first and only person to pin Dak Draper in NWL history.
He's right. Love it or hate it, Christopher, he is right.
So, Dak, I know you have a dreams come true challenge, or however you want to pawn off you ducking and dodging me. For 2 months, I've been asking for a rematch. I am now demanding my rematch.
Before he gets that rematch, like we said, here comes the International Man of Mystery himself. Scott Slade is making his way into the Scottish Rite Temple. This is the first time we've seen Scott Slade in a number of months.
From
Recently,
Las Vegas, Nevada, he is Scott Slade.
Recently just got back from an extended tour of Japan. Scott Slade doing very, very successful. Of course, athletes here in the NWL all over the world. Everybody wants to be here. Scott Slade, though, we still, Man of Mystery is right. We don't know a whole lot about Scott Slade. Why is he here exactly? Does he have some sort of hidden agenda? Or is it just sort of a hobby for him? Who knows?
One thing's for sure, Scott Slade is an accomplished athlete inside the squared circle, and this should be one heck of a contest between two finely tuned athletes of the NWL.
Well, you know, where does Blaine Meeks get off talking about how he's their hero and all of that? Nobody asked you to be our hero. You're certainly not my hero, Mr. Budinsky, always sticking your nose into where it doesn't belong. And now, when the chips get down and you get beat, all you do is cry about not getting your rematch. There's a lot of people that have a chance to get a Jack Draper that he's beaten. And you don't hear them crying. You don't hear Ken Dharma crying. You don't hear Niles Plonk. You don't hear Red Cloud, Jordan Castle. You don't hear any of those folks complaining like you hear Blaine Meeks complaining.
I think out of all those competitors, though, Blaine Meeks deserves it the most. The win-loss record speaks for itself. The classic match that they had for the championship speaks for itself. He does deserve that title rematch more than any of those wrestlers you just mentioned. Scott Slade, chain wrestling going on here. Nicely exit. Oh, good. Slips into a front chancery on Blaine Meeks. Like I said, this Scott Slade is a very seasoned competitor inside that squared circle.
As you can tell from seeing Scott Slade wrestle, he's got a background in amateur and Greco-Roman wrestling, but also a judo background as well. Very evident in a lot of the throws and tosses that he does. This guy, you never know which direction he's going to come at you.
The great thing about Scott Slade is no matter how hot and heavy the action gets, going for a cover here, no matter how hot and heavy the action gets, he is never exerting himself over than what he needs to do. He's always checking his heart rate, rolls up for a pin. Blaine Meeks almost rolls him up for a victory there. Nice bridge on that pin attempt by Blaine Meeks.
He absolutely is a very cool customer. This guy never really seems to get worked up about anything, and it seems to be works to his advantage most of the time.
Going for a sunset flip here. Has his legs over his shoulders too. Scott Slade rolls out of it just in the nick of time. Blaine Meeks, well, gets picked
Got caught right there. Amazing straight from Scott Slade.
That's right. And there's
there
that
we go.
judo
That's what we're
throw.
talking about, the judo background right there.
That's that judo background that you were talking about, using the weight of your opponent to let them carry themselves over. Nicely executed by Scott Slade.
You see, I'm not just a pretty face. I do my research. I know what I'm talking about, and you should be lucky that I am your partner, or that you're my partner, I should say.
Face is definitely something else.
It's one to remember, that's for sure.
Going back and forth and trying to suplex. Blaine Meeks misses wildly with that back elbow. Now Scott Slade gets the better of that, almost a gourd buster variation. Drops Blaine Meeks right onto his midsection. Now Scott Slade looks like he might be hooking him up again for another suplex.
That.
Oh,
wow.
Deadlifts him off the ground. Impressive strength. Look at him holding Blaine Meeks in a vertical position and down to the mat with a vertical suplex. Scott Slade going for a cover here.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe pound for pound, Scott Slade might be the strongest guy here in the NWL. This guy, very, very impressive feats of strength. This is just like we just saw.
Scott Slade desperately needs to pick up a victory here in this matchup if he expects to stay in the hunt for that title held by our champion, Dakota Draper.
The guy has been gone, like I said, been across the seas over in Japan right now, and sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle, so a victory over Blaine Meeks puts you right at the top.
Absolutely, it'd be huge for Scott Slade. Referee Nick Chin in position, only gets a 2 count. Scott Slade, as we've seen in matches past, has had some explosive suplexes in his arsenal. This guy knows exactly what he's doing inside the squared circle, and we've seen it before. He just needs to start racking up some victories.
But why is he here? Is this guy here just for fun? Is he a very serious professional wrestler? Is he somebody that, just wrestles to relieve the stress from whatever, be it traveling, a world traveler? I don't know. I want to find out.
Misses wildly with that right hand. Scott Slade with a flurry of offense of his own. Oh, backhands Blaine Meeks right in the face. What's he going for here? Drives him in a belly-to-back suplex. Using that momentum to drive him down hard in the center of the ring.
Listen to this crowd firmly behind Super Meeks, as he likes to be called now. You think we're going to see the cape here tonight? Because maybe it's in the cleaners, his cape.
That's right. Last week he did come out with that cape that helped him pick up a victory. I mean, he soared through there. It was pretty impressive. But some thought that the cape may have been a little much for Captain KC, but it was effective nonetheless.
It just goes to show you that Blaine Meeks really is a lunatic. This guy lives in a world of his own. He's always surrounding himself with comics and reading about comics. Now he thinks he's a superhero. I mean, what's next for this guy? He's wearing a cape now.
What's next needs to be that rematch with Dak Draper, and you know it.
Listen, he has got to work his way up. Now, granted, if he beats Scott Slade here tonight, maybe he's one step closer to getting that rematch. But there's a lot of folks in front of him. Went for it.
He went for that comic mischief, and Scott Slade held his ground. Oh! Vicious clothesline. Caught Blaine Meeks looking the other way. Meeks was really rattled by that clothesline. Reversal in the Irish whip into the corner. Scott Slade up. Blaine Meeks goes crashing into that turnbuckle. It looks like the two just collided heads, and Blaine Meeks spills to the outside of the ring. Here at the Scottish Rite Temple, referee Nick Chin making sure he can continue there on the outside.
The international style here of Scott Slade seems to be throwing off Blaine Meeks just a little bit. He's been firmly in control this whole time, most of this matchup. I think a lot of folks are surprised by that. I am a little bit.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
The cape. Blaine Meeks has retrieved his cape from underneath the ring apron here. He's putting it on, and that means business is about to pick up, if you will, for Captain KC, Blaine Meeks.
Now this is just ridiculous. Well, how is he allowed to just go and change his outfit in the middle of a match? It doesn't seem.
He didn't change his outfit. He just put a cape on.
A dumb cape on. He wasn't wearing it before.
Flips over Scott Slade. Scott Slade misses a clothesline. Blaine Meeks bounces off the other side. Hard reverse elbow. Connects with the chin of Scott Slade and takes him down with a clothesline and a beautiful drop kick by Captain KC. Could be going for that cross body block that he's been using lately to rack up some victories. Or maybe a tornado DDT here.
Got him hooked.
Got him hooked. That momentum carries him over. Snap suplex. Floats over to a cover. 2. No. Left shoulder up just in the nick of time.
We're using this cape as somewhat of a security blanket, maybe being able to give him that second wind. I don't know. I don't really know how lunatics think. This is just crazy. Major Basin should do something about this dumb cape.
Cape's not doing anybody any harm. Relax, Christopher. You'll be okay. Take your heart meds. Hard forearm strikes to the face. Scott Slade falls off the top rope. He could be getting ready for that super cross body block. And yes, I just called it a super cross body block. If he hits this, it's over. Lands on him. 1, 2, 3. Impressive victory by Blaine Meeks. Oh no, are you kidding me? Here he
There
comes.
we go. You want your rematch? Maybe we're going to get it right now. What do you think?
Oh no, Dak Draper making his way to the
So
ring.
is what? That's not Dak Draper. That's Ken Dharma.
Ken Dharma just came through the
He
crowd.
grabbed that kendo stick from underneath the ring that we saw earlier.
Unbelievable.
What is this all about?
Ken Dharma choking Blaine Meeks with that kendo stick. Look at the look in the eyes of High on Life. He looks possessed almost. Oh!
We talked about Ken Dharma being frustrated with being passed over. All the attention lately seems to be on Blaine Meeks. I don't think Ken Dharma likes it one bit. I have not seen a look on his eyes like that ever. Look at the viciousness with that kendo stick.
You hear those shots echo off the stomach and the back of Blaine Meeks, and that son of a gun right there, Ken Dharma.
What is this all about? I don't really know.
Ken Dharma.
Blaine Meeks, you better stop worrying about a match you don't have with Dak Draper and start worrying about Ken Dharma. Vicious. I like it. I love it, in fact.
It's High on Life. Ken Dharma starting to unravel a little bit. Folks, we've got to go to a commercial while we check on Blaine Meeks, and we'll be right back here on NWL KC.